Greetings, and more greetings, and welcome to the Positive Terror. So, today I would like to talk about an observation that I made from other people as well as from myself. What holds us back from reaching for the stars? You know, what holds us back from living the life of our dreams? What holds us back from doing whatever it is that we want to do and following our passions, right? Even if it is for a vocation. You find somebody who is working in an office job, which is great. And because different things are done in offices. So maybe it is something that they enjoy, but deep down, they want to be on the stage, they want to be on TV, they want to be entertainers or communicators, or they want to be heard, right? So instead of doing that, they will continue getting a safe job or working in an institution, or I don't know, doing whatever it is which they themselves feel confident at, great at, and they get paid for or valued for, right? So, what about people who don't even do what they want? Even if it's just for free, just because they want to do it. But of course, it requires an audience. For example, let's say maybe somebody wants to paint pictures, right? But then they're afraid of what people will say about their work and their art or their skill level. First and foremost, I will try to keep this video slash audio, very short, because I feel like this is a simple thing and yet it blocks us. Like it is such a huge mountain in our lives, because what it boils down to is the need for validation, right? Let's say, for example, you want to be a dancer. You want to dance, you haven't gone to school for dancing, and you want to work, perhaps. Let's say, yes, you do want to work as a dancer for a living, or in the field of dance for a living. You could just dance, just saying, for yourself, for fun, and share it with people for free. But what holds us back many times, or more often than not, is the fact that we want to be validated, all right? And how this comes in very, very different ways. A person who is a seeker of validation will not easily admit to that, because many times they are qualified for that, because that qualification validates. You see, many people will go get certified because that certificate validates their worth and their ability or their skill level, right? Or even experience, which I find so interesting, because many people who use their experience as validation for their worth as creatives or as creators of whatever they are doing, they started somewhere. They started without experience and they built up that experience. So many times a person would want to write a book, dance on stage, speak to people, say something, but then they would feel like they are not good enough, right? Because they need to be validated by somebody else or by something else before they can begin. How crazy is that? Okay, that's not crazy. That is the reality, and I believe that is normal, because validation, I suppose, increases our confidence. But what if you could be confident in yourself enough without having the need for validation? Okay, so if I do not say that you are out here seeking validation to do what you want to do, let us see then what holds you back, which is the second thing, but I believe it's two sides of the same coin. It is the fear of criticism. As much as you want somebody to say your work is good, you might not even start that work to begin with, because you are like, what if it is not good enough? What will people say? Well, I will just tell you about me, I don't know about other people, but I can never, ever make any comment on something that does not exist. Like, who am I to criticize like things that don't even exist? So you haven't even done anything and you're already afraid of being criticized. What is there to criticize? Like, what is there to criticize? You haven't even done anything. That even if you are a seeker of validation, what is there to validate if you haven't done anything? Because I will just use my personal experience, and I will just be honest, and um I am at times I do struggle with confidence, and sometimes about different topics, or just speaking my mind freely, or even performances. Okay, now this is something that I struggled with because I write poetry, and it took me a long time to build confidence, right? Because I just wrote freely, like, yo, when I'm in my room or when I'm in my space, I can write, and write. But when it was time to share, I mean, the first time, fortunately, I suppose for me, maybe the first time I performed at an event, I was the first one to perform, or one of the first ones to perform. But then afterwards, all of these people came, and my poems are usually short, or shorter than average by the looks of things. And these other performers came out here with like 15-minute long poems, or that's how they felt. These emotional, animated, and all of those things. And at that moment, then I felt like maybe I wasn't good enough. But funny enough, that only happened when I started comparing myself to others. And once I actually went to congratulate them, they congratulated me too. And I was surprised by that. And there are some people who would rather like pull you down, like this is something that exists. But the greatest of the greats, from my experience anyways, are some of the most encouraging people, right? But I can say from my experience that I have been encouraged to continue, I have been encouraged to not give up. Even if it was criticism, I've been criticized on what I have done, you see, or what I have shared. Whether it was positive criticism, destructive or constructive, being advised on how to present, or even how to do the work, or people, it starts with you. Or in that case, it started with me. I had to overcome so many internal barriers first and be like, you know what, I'm confident enough to do this. And then I went there and did it. After I've already done it, I started feeling bad, which is, I think, something that happens to maybe everybody. Because sometimes, let me talk about musicians maybe sometimes release, I think every song a musician releases, like, they think it's a hit. I believe so. If they believe in their work, that is, they believe that it has a potential to be the biggest track ever. But sometimes the results are lackluster, or average, or even below average. So I can only imagine the internal criticism that comes up after that. You know, internal criticism. Yes. Ha. So sometimes we don't realize it, but the biggest criticism that we are afraid of is not the criticism from other people, but the criticism from ourselves, because we can be very, very harsh to ourselves, isn't it? Because we are so harsh to ourselves that we criticize ourselves before we've even done anything. At least other people can criticize what they see. I can't criticize your work when I've never seen anything from you. Only you can criticize your work. So now you'll come to me, maybe as a friend, or as a fellow person who wants to do, I don't know, maybe our paths will cross, and you will come to me and tell me, and in the process, while you're telling me, you'll be so busy criticizing yourself, you know instead of actually presenting your work. You are just presenting your criticisms of your work. In that way, are you not stripping me of the opportunity, or even of the privilege, or even maybe of the honor of experiencing your work, having my own perspective, and sharing it with you? Maybe I would have liked to hear your work, and maybe even give my 2 cents. After all, we all have, no matter how broke a person can be, or how penniless or whatever, somewhere, somehow, we all have 2 cents to give, right? But maybe you are so, you got thousands of thousands, millions and billions was worth of all the 2 cents of criticisms that you've been giving to yourself, that low key, without yourself even realizing, you keep your things to yourself because, you don't need any more criticism because you have criticized yourself enough. Right. Whereas on the other hand, you could have actually shared something with somebody and they could have appreciated it, and appreciated you, and that would have made you feel so much better. You know, listen, regardless of what anybody says after you've done the work, I assure you, you're going to feel so good about yourself for having done it in the first place. You're going to feel even better about yourself for being able to say, at least I tried. Not everybody can say, I will try again. Huh? Because not everybody tries. Not everybody tries. How many times have you tried? If you have given up on something, tell me, how many times have you tried? The most give uppers, the most numerous types of give uppers in this world are those who don't even try, who don't even share. We are all occupants of this earth. We are automatically, whether we like it or not, sharing the air that we breathe. When it rains on us all. But you are so selfish. If I want to criticize you now, I will criticize you. You're so selfish that you don't even want to share your work. You don't even want to share your talent. You're so selfish that you come here telling me about how terrible that you are, but you're not even giving me a chance to speak or to think or to even have an opinion on you. And then you're going to come, if I agree with you, you're going to leave feeling bad, terrible. What exactly was I supposed to validate at that moment in time? If you here coming, criticizing yourself about how not good enough you are, and then that's why you're not doing anything. Like, everybody who is great had to overcome internal criticisms and fears, and not everybody who looks confident is, and not everybody who looks like they're on the top of their game has always been there. Plus the top is not a solid place. What's the top now can be below, 10 years later, 20 years later, or even 2 days later. So what holds us back many, many, many times from us even just trying, even just starting, it is the need for validation, which I feel is exactly the same, essentially the same thing as fear of criticism, right? Because it's the law of opposites. If you want to eat, okay, maybe there's not a good example, but okay, let me just give it. If you want to eat, it could conversely mean that you don't want to be hungry. But the reason why I said maybe this is not a good example. Some people are not hungry, but they still eat because now they're trying to drown out other things, other insecurities, other fears, other traumas, just trying to bury things inside them through food, drinks, whatever, I don't know, whatever that you put in your system to try to. So, but on a normal scale or under normal circumstances, you drink water because you don't want to be thirsty. So you want validation because you don't want to be criticized, right? So I don't know. What is it? But the biggest and the best form of validation that you could ever get is the one that comes from yourself. Because as soon as you just do it, you have already validated yourself. Do you realize that? And once you share, you are more likely to get more encouragement, even if it is criticism or like, oh yeah, you could do this, you could do that. Sometimes it's not even criticism, maybe it's suggestions, but already because you already have internalized this criticism, whatever anybody says to you is probably going to be negative. Even if they say good things, you go now to your house and in your head now twist things for them to meet your internal narrative of whatever criticism it is you have accepted and that you live by. So please, and I'm not just saying this because it is a new year or I don't know what time or when you are listening to this, but any time is a good time. If you are hearing this right now, this is a good sign for you to just go ahead and do what you got to do, right? The time is now. There's no other perfect time in the future to do something that you've wanted to do from like 10, 20 years back. Okay, depending on how old you are. It could even be 50 years back. What? How much more time do you need? No, like, how much more time do you need? This is a question. What is it that you need? What do you want? You have it all. You have everything that you need. If you want to sing, there's so many platforms, so many stages, go sing. If you want to act, go audition. Or, we live in the age of technology. Do you mind recording yourself doing something funny? You know you can do that. You can just do some things by yourself. If you want to paint, do you really want to go? I mean, it's fine. Go get your visual arts degree. Nobody's saying, you shouldn't get it. But now, why not just take a pen, pencil, crayon, paintbrush, or whatever and just paint? Why can't you just do that? If, let's say, perhaps you are in a situation where you cannot, or it is impractical, or it is quote unquote too late for you to go back to school, which I feel it is bull. Anyways, but if you are under those circumstances whereby you cannot pursue your studies, why not just do it? Because you can improve your skill. In any case, what I have noticed from school, especially in these like literature, if you go study literature, I have noticed that you're going to be doing a whole lot of reading and a whole lot of writing. Can you not read books at your home if you can't afford like literary school? Can you not write? Are there not papers in this world and pens and pencil? I don't know what device you are listening to this from. Can you not type this on your computer? Can you not type this on your phone? Or paint? I don't know, like if you are a writer, that is, or I don't know. Yeah. Can you just stop? I don't know. There's something that you've been doing to prevent your own self, to prevent yourself from progressing. So please just stop, okay? Stop looking for validation and validate yourself. You are worthy and you are great. So your own opinion of yourself is good. And perhaps the only reason why you're not progressing is because your own opinion of yourself is already negative. And maybe sometimes, sometimes it takes, yes, I understand. Okay, you know what? Sometimes it can take a full circle for you starting on the outside, looking for external validation, looking for, I don't know, gathering and amassing all of these things only to come back home and to realize all that mattered in the first place was what you thought about your work, what you thought about yourself. Because that is the only thing or the biggest thing that determines whether it's going to get done or not. It's not me or what I say that's going to determine your level of success, or what anybody else says. Actually, is what you say. So if I say your work is terrible, say, okay, this is what you got to say to me. At least I did it, but you can't, if you can't even say that, you can't even have an answer to your haters or to your critics. What is there to answer? And unfortunately, you can never benefit from your supporters. And it's because you are your own self-critic that you think everybody is a critic. But trust me, you probably have so many supporters, so many fans, so many people who need to hear what you have to say, who need to see what you got to offer. The world needs you, You probably don't think that because you're thinking whatever that you're thinking. I don't know. And stop thinking that, and just do whatever it is that you want to do. Just dance, have fun. Do what you want. You see. Validate yourself. As much as you criticize yourself, you can also validate yourself, okay? And not to say that there's anything wrong with validation. I mean, it feels good. But you can only get it after you've done something. Same as criticism. You can only get it after you've done something. Right? And all other criticism that you'll get while not doing something is a criticism. Somebody cannot criticize you for not doing what you want unless you have told them. about what you want, of which it's an idea also. Even ideas can never be criticized unless they're shared, and they can never be validated unless they're shared. So nothing can happen, like literally nothing can happen. And if nothing is happening, it's on you, because you have to share the idea, share the work, do the things, do what needs to be done. And whatever, good or bad, comes after that, it will only come after you have done your part, you see. So if you're so afraid of criticism, do what you got to do to the best of your ability, your current ability. I've been thinking earlier on, perhaps because of the conclusions are within reach video I uploaded not so long ago. I mentioned that, okay, this is not a spoiler. I hope this is not a spoiler. Does this count as a spoiler? Okay, spoiler alert. Okay, I mentioned in the video that sometimes we must start with endings before we start with beginnings. The same way, for a long time, I think maybe that was before I was born, for a long time, people believed that the numerical system started from zero and went up. And then somebody, some genius, came along and showed us that there is a zero before a one. All right. There's even negatives, but that's a story for another day. But like, to show you that this thing has been so accepted that numbers start at zero. You heard in nowadays conversation, when things get out of hand, conversation get out of hand, like, or I don't know, maybe, okay, like when something goes from 0 to 100 real quick. Does that sound familiar? Does it go from 1 to 100 real quick? 5 to 100 real quick? From 99 to 100 real quick? I don't know, you tell me, but from what I've heard, it's from 0 to 100 real quick. So even arguments or whatever things can go from 0 to 100 real quick. What about you? You can also, and this also boils down, like touches on another point. Yes, maybe we want to start on an advantageous position in order for us to pursue our passions. I don't know, our passions, competitions. I don't know who you're competing with, which is why, I guess me earlier on, when the first time I performed and I felt bad or inferior because my poems were so short and other people could talk all day, okay, funny enough, I feel like I'm talking all day on this channel, but anyways, so it was only because I was comparing myself. And sometimes not everything is a competition, because comparison one way or another will lead to competition, and you will end up competing with people who, number one, might or might not even know of your existence, and they're out there living their lives, doing their things because they have overcome the position that you are currently in, but you are assuming that they've never been in your position, yeah. You want to start at that position or at that point or at the higher point, but you can start at zero or wherever you are. Maybe you think that you are at zero, but hey, somebody can tell you that you're actually on level 100 already, or even level 50. Maybe that's the validation that you need or that you're looking for, but just try, just do your thing. Only after you'll do it, only after you've done it, will you realize that, yo, I thought I was a zero all along, but hey, this is not too bad. And unless you just want to do what you love just once, once in your life, then obviously there's no room for growth. But generally, if you love something, you want to do it continuously, there's always room for growth. Where you start is not always where you're going to finish, because if you keep moving, no matter how slow, because I love this quote, even snails cover distances. I think it's a quote by me, but you can Google it. If it exists, I don't know, but it just came to mind. Even snails cover distances, regardless of how slowly they move. They're out here moving, And if you have to be a snail, it's better than not moving, you know. And if you have to be a cheetah, then you got to start running. Even cheetahs, they cover distances because they are running. They're moving. You can't get anywhere if you don't move. And it sucks, it sucks. It really, really, really does sucks if you compare yourself with somebody who's making the biggest of moves when you're not even moving. And then you're going to start pointing fingers at other people. Oh, and it is just the inverted form of blaming. Oh, I'm not great and I'm not doing what I want in life because Beyonce is so great, because Pablo Picasso is so great. Oh, because J.K. Rowling is so great. You know, because all of these people that you admire, or that you, I don't know, perhaps you even admire them, you know. So now, are those people wrong? Or I don't know, what must happen? What must be fixed? What's wrong? I feel like I told you what's wrong, so please go fix it. Thank you so much for listening. If you have listened up to this point, if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And I would truly appreciate that, because it makes a huge difference and it means a lot to me. Okay. And also, please never, like, okay, I can't say never because these things do happen, but hey, like, reduce a little bit on your self-criticism. Don't cut yourself short anymore. You've wasted so much time. Maybe you have done gone full circle, but it's never too late to come back to center. Okay. That is technically the beginning, but regardless of how long the journey takes to come back to self, it's great, because then it'll be right on time. You'll be right on time to start on this new journey, or whatever other journey you'll be going on. Okay. So validations and criticisms are things that are there. Don't do that to yourself. Like, just don't do that to yourself. Go there, shine, be great, do great for yourself. You owe that to yourself. If you have been postponing something for years, trust me, you owe it. To the rest of the world, yes, but to yourself, okay? Okay? Please validate yourself. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Believe in yourself. Go out there, show the world what you're made of. I am Lesejo, and this is the Positive Tarot, signing out. Bye.